What are the biggest challenges running an airline today?
I think governments are challenges because when I was in the music business or I'm in the hotel business, etc., you can just move on and do things, right? But in the airline business, there's a lot of regulations. If I want to open a hotel in Bangkok, it's very easy. But if I want to start a route, there's just so many approvals, so many, So you're not in control of your destiny as much. You have to deal with airports as well, who don't always see it your way. A lot of unique challenges like that.
How would the AEC, the ASEAN Economic Community, impact the airline industry?
I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan. I moved my office to Jakarta.
Okay.
Because I'm a big believer in ASEAN, and I love what's happening. I think Thailand's going to be a big driver. I think having airport like Don Mueang will be a big driver in the ASEAN economic for SMEs. I think it's not about big corporations. I think SMEs will drive ASEAN integration quicker. So I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of having more things ASEAN. One ASEAN air traffic control system would be a godsend. One ASEAN aviation authority. So a Thai pilot could fly in Malaysia, a Malaysian pilot could fly in Jakarta. Freedom of movement and labor will make our cost structure much better. And I think for the ASEAN Economic Community to really be a community, we have to have good connectivity. And so I hope that more open skies will evolve, and each of us can own more in each airline. So big believer, very important, and I think airlines such as AirAsia are big enablers of the ASEAN Economic Community. We're probably one of the few ASEAN brands. We go out there and paint planes. Dr. Surin, helped me, and I put the ASEAN logo on a plane, and I've been a big supporter of ASEAN. So there are not many ASEAN brands, but I think people, and the common man doesn't realize how important ASEAN is going to be, because ASEAN hasn't done a great job in marketing itself, right? So I think as everyone gets fixated with China and India, we're sitting on a gold mine here of 700 million people. AirAsia has built its business not out of China or India, but out of ASEAN. And I hope in the ASEAN Economic Community will create more ASEAN brands going forward.
I think a lot of your customers would want to know this. Would you be able to drive ticket prices even lower?
Yeah, that's my goal. That's my goal. People say, what's your religion? I say low cost. Because low cost equals low fare. A big part of that is airports. A big part of that is airports. A big part of it is things like I just talked about, air traffic control, so we burn less fuel. Training costs are reduced, etc. So I believe we can, and I believe the AEC will be a big part in reducing travel. For instance, air navigation charges. Very expensive to fly over Cambodia and Vietnam. Very cheap to fly over Thailand and Malaysia. If we had a common system and we allowed people flying between ASEAN to have less air traffic costs, we can reduce the fare. So I believe we can. I believe we can, and it's my goal. I told the Prime Minister today that in the shower I thought of the tagline, now everyone can fly. And I think we're halfway there. But if I can confidently say in 5 years' time we've got fares low enough that every man in ASEAN can fly, then we as an airline, we as a community have done something great.
What goals do you have for AirAsia?
I have some pretty lofty goals, right? My people think I'm crazy, but then 10 years ago, if I said to you, coming from the music business, I'm going to build an airline that's 125 planes, you would have said, what drugs are you taking? I would like AirAsia to be one of the greatest companies to work for. Everyone says, put customer first. My motto is put employee first. Because if employees are happy, they'll look after the customers anyway, right? I've lived an amazing life that I've lived so many of my dreams. I want to be able to give the chance to my staff to be able to live some of their dreams as well. So that's one. And number two is maybe an impossible dream, but you got a dream. I hope one day AirAsia will be as well known as Coca-Cola. That's really tough, but you got to have some ambition.
What's the working relationship now between AirAsia and Thai AirAsia?
Well, Thai AirAsia is owned by Kunjo and his team. I'm a minority investor in that. But we're very closely linked. Obviously, we're very good friends as well. But we share the common brand. We share a common network. We buy things in bulk. So the economies of scale are there. But Thai AirAsia is very much evolving into its own, adolescent. So it's gone from the baby to now almost becoming its own master of its own destiny. But where we keep things central, things like the brand, etc., because that makes sense to do that.